Hi, and welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to start this off by talking a little bit more in depth about Contrave and how I got started on it. And one of the questions that I see a lot of people asking was, how do you know that it's working? How did you manage through the side effects? So as far as side effects go, as far as I was concerned, I didn't have a choice. So I committed to suffering through them, and thankfully they weren't too severe. I did start in January of 2021. I started taking Contrave. I was sitting at about 390 pounds, and I was unable even to begin trying to manage this devastating eating disorder that I could barely admit to myself was real. Now, back in the 80s and 90s, only extra unhealthily skinny people had eating disorders. It was unheard of for a fat individual to suffer from an eating disorder. The pain that I was in was horrible. Even trying to do something as simple as getting up to go to the bathroom would have me in so much pain that I'd have tears rolling down my face. I knew I couldn't just sit there and continue to wallow in depression and self-destruction. So I went online and I found myself a little under the desk bike ergometer, and it was the best purchase that I've made. I believe I mentioned or referenced in my first video that I could only pedal for 5 minutes at a time, and that's true. I was in a considerable amount of pain, and plus there was a lot of inflammation that was making my joints very stiff and sore. I have to say that I was in a lot of pain, and the first few months on Contrave, I wasn't in the best place mentally. I noticed that with Contrave, my eating fluctuated quite a bit. Now, some people report that they feel the appetite suppression right away. And for some people, they feel it goes away, it comes back. And for some people, it's strong right from day one, and they actually struggle to eat enough food. So I noticed that the first couple days, I couldn't eat past 800 calories. I just had no interest, no desire for food. And I mean, that alone was nothing short of a miracle. I thought for sure that having that kind of reaction so quickly after taking the medication was a good sign. Now, I didn't really want to collect too many good signs because I was a little anxious about believing that this could work. I didn't want to hope because hope is very dangerous. But I thought nothing short of a miracle was going to be able to save me, and I had to make Contrave work. If it wasn't going to work for me, I knew that I was going to have to make it work. Luckily, though, the cravings, the obsessive thoughts, the food noise, being unable to draw my attention away from food or from planning, the urges and cravings, the need to binge and self sabotage, all of that crap that goes with binge and emotionally disordered eating will over time slowly fade until there is no more noise in your head. I was eating so little at first, but that too came in waves. Some days it was a little bit more intense than others, but eventually the mind calms and the appetite will slowly level out. When the appetite suppression kicks in, you're free to rebuild your relationship with food in a much healthier way. Now, I want to say that it was around the 6th or 7th month that I saw changes in my body. However, my family was noting them much sooner. I just wouldn't allow myself to believe it was actually working. And I see on my groups, there's so many people who are posting their disappointment and discouragement. And I really have to caution you guys, Contrave requires patience. I had to learn it the hard way. Please give it the 12 to 16 weeks before making up your mind whether it's working for you or not. You never know. As my weight come off, I noticed that I felt lighter at times. I'd used too much force when going to stand up, and I'd almost topple myself over. My clothes were getting looser. I got to a point where I couldn't lie to myself and say that they were just stretched from the wash. No, my pants were hanging just barely onto my hip bones. And then it felt like one day I woke up and got dressed and promptly lost my pants. They would not stay on. With the bike, my stamina was growing. I was increasing how often I'd bike. I went from 5 minutes, then to 15, and then I amped my way up to 20. slowly graduating to more and more time spent on the bike. I did spend a scary period of several months being stuck in my basement. If I tried to put weight on my right knee, it literally felt like it was going to pop out of socket if I tried to step up. It was enough to deter me from trying the steps for a while, and I had to retrain myself. Leading to go up the stairs on my left instead of my right feels awkward, but I do my best to make it work. So imagine my surprise when I dropped my first 100 pounds just shy of a year. And then I dropped 150 pounds, which I have to admit I never would have thought would have been possible if not for Contrave and its ability to bridge whatever faulty neurons I have up in my head. And then I dropped even further to 160, and then to 175. And now I'm hovering at a loss of 179 pounds, and I'm still losing. My new goal is to break the hundreds. And if I can do that, then I can truly do anything. And I believe that you can too. I'm proof that eating disorders are treatable. There is no doubt in my mind that weight loss medications like Contrave and Ozempic, Wegovy, and Saxenda are the keys to successful weight management. I mean, the popularity of these medications in pop culture and media alone should tell you just how successful these weight loss tools are. I can't make it any more obvious than it is. Also, I entertained this notion the other day. The weight loss and diet industry have literally been preying on obese people for decades. We're suckers, and we're desperate to find the easiest and fastest way to skinny, or at least that's what they think of us. The truth is, there is no secret tool, or diet, or herb, or tea. We're basically just paying people who are already fit to what? Stay fit, show us how good they are at being fit. Wouldn't a better testimonial be following the journey of a morbidly obese individual as they struggle to overcome disability brought on by conditions that went unchecked until I'd lost over 100 pounds? Wouldn't that be more relatable? Wouldn't that be more impressive? Would that not be more of a testimonial of success? And yet, not to mention, it would be more genuine and even trustworthy. Far more deserving of support than continuing to line the pockets of people and coaches and trainers who are all already thin to begin with and have been abusing our pathetic nature for their continued financial gain for the last how many decades. It's enough. Enough is enough. Food for thought. Stop paying people who are already thin to continue to stay thin. Find somebody that you align with, somebody whose morals and personality you agree with, and stand by them. Support them. Find a real person struggling with real weight problems, maybe relatable weight problems, and support that journey and their success. And then maybe you can relate a little and find your own inspiration. There's no one size fits all to weight loss. There's going to be different ways and styles for people, and it doesn't matter how you get there as long as you get there. We all want a healthier life. There's nothing wrong with saying that. And I think treating life like a quality contest as opposed to longevity is smarter all around. In any event, Contrave has also unraveled all of my childhood traumas and scars. It also unearthed an unknown underlying condition which is far more to blame for the destruction of my knees than my weight ever was. And that brings us to the present. I do have a specialist appointment coming up, so I will have more information about my condition, whether it's improving or not, and then I'll have to go from there. So thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions for me, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm more than happy to help out wherever I can. And if by sharing my experience I can help you, then I'm happy to do it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.